Hello, I'm Brian Williams, and this is my final project proposal. Yes, it's only Brian Williams. I'm on my own. I would love to have a team. But anyways, to start out, I plan to use the initial setup that comes from the DC motor that we examined from Lab 7. As you see, there's a picture of it in the bottom right corner. I want to add different components and variables to change some of the properties that we're examining the DC motor, specifically, as I'll get into this later, but specifically the main focus of my project will be adding wheels to the motor component. And I want to focus on the velocity that the motor goes and that the system will work at. Adding wheels will kind of create a car-like component to it. And I want to focus on trying to change the speeds using different variables and different components, specifically probably the voltage and the spring, to create different velocities in it and acceleration in the system. Like I said before, I plan to add wheels to create a moving system that goes along with the DC motor that we've already kind of started to create in Lab 7. I want to manipulate the voltage, the spring, and the dampening to cause different changes in velocity and speed. Eventually, I want to get to a place where I find different speeds for different variable values, and I'm able to change it to a certain speed that I want by finding patterns in the velocity and speed that the system moves at based on whatever I'm changing in the system and the DC motor. The timeline, first I have to do a lot of research on the subject matters to make it work using the kit. I'm not very good at using these type of kits or things of this nature, so I have to, really teach myself and kind of decide how I'm going to create the DC motor that we found, that we've already simulated, and then adding the components that I want to add and making those work together and finding ways to program it to where I can change the variables to match different speeds. By the end of next week, I plan to have enough knowledge to be able to start assembly, get my lab kit pretty much next Monday or as soon as I can get it. And by the end of next week, I'll want to start the assembly, then evaluate how the DC motor and the wheels are reacting with each other. And if I can, manipulate the speed will be perfect for what I want to do. Then the purpose is really just to find the patterns of velocity and speed of the system. And then I'll create a video and write up a lab report format that way. This distribution, well, I'm by myself. I'm by myself, so it's just kind of all on me to figure it out and work it out within the given time frame that I have. The outcome, I've kind of mentioned it throughout this presentation, but I want the system to have moving components. I want the DC motor and wheels to interact, specifically those two pieces to really interact and create, like mentioned in the final project manual, it did mention like adding wheels and creating a moving car component. That's really what I'm trying to do. Then create a system that has different speed levels and different velocities and things of that nature. And I want the motor to act as basically the motor in a car. And the wheels will be obviously the wheels of the car. This is that. Thank you guys for listening. Appreciate it.